Hey, it's me, Katie. Welcome back to the Spotlight. I kid you not, this video has been on my to film list since I first started this channel, which is insane. So yes, just to clarify, this is taking inspiration from the original Gossip Girl, not the reboot. And even though a lot of the fashions we see throughout the series aren't necessarily what's trending today, I do feel like it's one of those cult iconic costume designs that we always come back and reference anyway. So hopefully you'll still enjoy, and if after this you have the sudden urge to rewatch Gossip Girl for yourself, just a heads up, you may be in for a rude awakening because I'm pretty sure they have removed it from a lot of Netflix libraries around the world. But fear not, because today's video sponsor is here to save the day, award-winning VPN Surfshark. Pretty much the version of Netflix you see can be completely different to someone on the other side of the world, but with Surfshark you're able to quickly and easily change those location settings and instantly have access to a ton more content. For example, if you're somewhere like the United States or the United Kingdom, which don't currently have Gossip Girl, you can switch over to my neck of the woods here in Australia to binge watch till your heart's content. And the amazing thing about Surfshark is that they offer unlimited devices under just one account. So if you're someone who shares your Netflix account with others, you don't have to worry because everyone can log in as they please and find what suits them best, whether it's films, anime, K-dramas. Half the fun is finding which country suits your taste best. And on top of that, you'll be ensuring your privacy and safety online because Surfshark protects all of your personal information. You can use my code SPOTLIGHT for 83% off plus 4 extra months for free now. And since Surfshark offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, you can try it all risk-free via the link on screen and down below in the description box. By the way, if you are wondering why it took me so long to do this video, simply put, it's because I didn't think I could do it justice. I grew up with this show and I just always remember feeling like the style was so unattainable and unique that I couldn't possibly recreate it, and I feel like that always just stuck in my head. But finally, I'm kind of at a point where I know that I have enough confidence in my styling ability that I don't feel like I have to have the exact pieces to do a copy and paste recreation. I can really just take the essence of the character and kind of show you guys how I would style them today. So with that in mind, I thought we'd ease into things with what I would consider the easiest to take inspiration from and what I see most frequently other people taking inspo from as well, which is actually the early seasons where they're still in high school and their outfits are somewhat reminiscent of the base uniform that they just completely manipulate into their own style. I have 3 looks for this category from 3 separate character point of views. For Blair's interpretation, I knew there was a checklist of a few key accessories I felt like I had to meet: the headband, the pussy bow, and opaque tights. But these 3 accessories alone, we're already able to tell a little bit about her style. Obviously it's preppy and probably has a 50s, 60s sort of influence to it. Although her and her minions do wear an array of different colors during these early seasons, specifically in the first half of season 1, I found that they actually style her in a lot of primary colors and jewel tones. I think it actually really helps paint the picture because these jewel tones are synonymous with luxury in my eyes. She seems expensive, classic, and very much coming from old money. I particularly love seeing her in red early on. It's so bold and commanding, especially when you take into consideration that they often styled Jenny in these soft baby pink tones. It feels like they were already setting up the story just with what color tights they were wearing. Serena's approach to the school uniform was a lot less uptight and just a very effortless feel to it. And since her style was more carefree, I felt like I had more wiggle room to play around with how I wanted to wear it. And in the end, it definitely seems like something you would expect to see people wearing today. The base is super standard with a pleated skirt and white polo. I wanted to layer on a vest, but I didn't want to make it too school uniformy, so I opted for this crochet one, which helped make the look more relaxed and very on brand for her almost bohemian inspired touches she would often throw in. Knee-high boots were a must, and a more fitted cropped leather jacket would definitely be ideal, but in my case I just had to throw on the classic leather blazer. For my Jenny uniform, we're fast forwarding through to her edgier era. My goal here was just to layer predominantly black items in various textures, but the one key accessory I felt like I couldn't do without was definitely just a plain black necktie. Originally I was just going to stick to a short pleated skirt, but I have these shorts and I thought that would work perfectly for her character with the lace-up detailing down the sides and the exposed zipper hardware. Either way, you can still pair them with some tights. I opted for these spiderweb ones. I felt like they matched her personality perfectly. Actually, you know what? Let's do another Jenny look because growing up, she was literally my favorite character. I wanted to be just like her, which is that a red flag? I was just really into a darker style at the time and also wanted to be a fashion designer, so I was actually trying to sew a lot of my own clothes. I wish I had pictures, but yeah, Jenny will always be an icon in my books, and this look I feel like is something she would wear maybe when she was doing her internship slash going out with Agnes, so definitely a very wearable look. And honestly, with how quick the trend cycles are moving these days, this is probably going to be back in sooner than you think. I wasn't sure whether to include Vanessa or not because I know people love to hate her style, and often for good reason. There was a lot of questionable choices happening. So consider this just a completely reimagined version of what I personally would have styled Vanessa in. I still stuck to that same general aesthetic and also tried to include a couple of trends that were very reminiscent of that time, like the little mini denim vest. And honestly, I love how this one turned out. I would wear it in a heartbeat. I think the main difference is that I definitely played it safe. Often she was sporting either clashing patterns, obnoxious color combos, or just like very odd layering. So in that sense, mine is much more simple, but to me, it still feels unique. And at the end of the day, I feel like Vanessa's styling could have used a little bit more simplicity anyway. Don't get me wrong though, I really don't want to hate on it because one of my favorite things about Gossip Girl is that all of the characters really feel like they have their own individual personal style, and like one could not mix and match with the other. I just love costume design where they're already telling you who the character is before they even open their mouth. Okay, let's switch back to a bestie look. I was quite inspired by a specific photo of Blair and Serena, mostly because I have really similar pants to Serena, and I've had these pants for probably 6 to 7 years at this point, so you know they're timeless. This peachy shade is just stunning, and I love the wide leg on her, and also that's the style I prefer to wear as well. For the upper half, I kind of merged it with another iconic reference picture where she's wearing this gold blazer jacket. Mine is completely sequined, which makes for a really interesting balance between how outrageous the top is compared to the more casual pants, which totally captures Serena's more laid-back style. Her wardrobe is actually said to be quite inspired by Kate Moss, and just the idea of you've rolled out of bed after partying and you're going to pick up whatever is on the floor next to you and make it work. So in that case, I feel like we are right on the money. Just to confuse the aesthetic a little bit more, I also teamed it with a couple of bohemian accessories. And then to team with that, we have Blair's look. I think the silhouette of this dress fits her perfectly, especially for her summer wardrobe. Often when I see people doing Blair inspired looks, it's always like the winter, super preppy schoolgirl, but she serves so much more than that. I was actually really excited to put this one together despite it not being my own usual style. The cut of the dress and the size of the belt definitely make this feel a little bit more retro. Also, I'm not sure how well this is picking up on camera, but the lining of the dress is actually a really similar peach shade to Serena's pants, and I think that that teams up beautifully with this green shade as well. My only real issue, and this goes for pretty much all of the looks, is the footwear department, because if you're a regular here on the channel, you know I pretty much just stick to really chunky black shoes, which isn't gonna cut it in a Gossip Girl lookbook. So I really had to dig into my storage box to find some sandals, but even then they're a really low heel, which doesn't feel right. But honestly, I just do not own stilettos. I cannot walk in them. And I do have another summer vacation look for Serena. This one more so if she was just going on a trip to the Hamptons. It's very loosely inspired by when she was with Nate as well. I absolutely loved how she looked in the blue business shirt of his. So I've kind of taken a bit of that with this striped shirt dress, which is unfortunately too short for me, so I had to layer a little white mini underneath. That almost made it feel a little bit disjointed to me, so I thought to fix that, perhaps styling a little white linen vest over the top. We could definitely go for some straw accessories here, and for shoes, probably some wide sandals. But if Serena vanderwoodsen was existing in 2021, I definitely think she would be wearing cowboy boots with everything, which same. Before I get into the last few girls looks, I also wanted to try tackling the 3 main males too. Honestly, Chuck was the only one really delivering in the style inspo department for me. He actually got to play around with colors, accessories, patterns, so it's a little bit more fun, but obviously it was still very formal, tailored, and expensive. I didn't want to go for a full suit slash I don't even own one, but I still stuck with the same base of a button-up and trousers, and I opted for this really pretty lilac purple color. I believe somewhere in the show he says that purple is his favorite color to wear. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it had something to do with because his dad hates it or something. Luckily, I too love purple, but I tried to add quite a stark contrast with the accessories all being black. And since I didn't have a blazer or vest, I thought it would be fun to opt for these suspenders instead. Definitely a really playful element that still really suits him. Nate, on the other hand, I personally found very uninspiring, and I tried to start putting together an outfit for him, and then it turned into another look for Chuck. So sorry about it. This would be more appropriate for like a summer daytime event, not just because of the lighter color palette, but also because of the lighter fabrics. I just love how these creamy tones blend with the cooler pastels. And you already know I was stoked to pull out another vest. I did give Nate another try, but just a warning, this is probably my weakest of the bunch, just because I don't think it's something that we necessarily saw him in very often, but it's just the direction that I felt like taking it in. And the inspo was kind of like a casual, preppy weekend look that you might see him in at the Vanderbilt estate. You know, I kind of wanted it to give like a douchebag who enjoys lacrosse or water polo. I personally have never encountered someone like that, so I have no idea if this is working or not. But to me, sweater vests like this are kind of synonymous with a preppier style, which is why it's kind of interesting that we didn't actually see more of them in the original series. I have noticed that they do tend to style them in the reboot though, which I guess I'll kind of lightly touch on the reboot. I'm not going to touch on the storyline. I haven't necessarily enjoyed it, but as far as the costuming goes, I don't hate it by any means, but it definitely is very, very underwhelming for me, and mostly just because all the outfits feel like they could be interchangeable to any which character, and also what I would see if I was walking down the street. Whereas in the original, like I said in the beginning, it felt so unattainable and truly like we were getting like a sneak peek into this rich, luxurious lifestyle that we would never actually be a part of or be able to recreate for ourselves. Plus the wardrobes felt so specific to each individual, and honestly at the time it felt like Gossip Girl was starting trends, whereas with the reboot I feel like they're really just tagging along on trends that already exist in social media. So it's not bad, it's just that I don't think it could have that same cultural impact as the previous series. Okay, end of tangent. Let's have a look at Dan's outfit. He wore a lot of flannels, jeans, wool coats, obviously a lot more casual than his counterparts, but I've almost kind of taken inspiration from season 1 Dan in his school uniform, but made it not school uniform. I don't know. Either way, the main point being the khaki green jacket. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to layer with a vest or a chunky scarf because I feel like we've seen him in both. Of course, his key accessory is going to be his messenger style bag, and also for like 2021, I feel like he would definitely have over-the-ear headphones. I mean, if I look, there's probably footage of him wearing them then too. This has obviously been tweaked to fit my style, but that is the beauty of fashion. You can do whatever the hell you want. Another style I wanted to explore for Blair was a cape. We see this fairly frequently, actually on a couple of different characters, but I do think it aligns best with Blair's classic sensibility. In my mind, this works for a later season winter look. Obviously, I've introduced that baby pink color palette instead of just sticking to those bold jewel tones from her early high school days. The other thing that's gotten an upgrade is the headband. She started wearing a lot of other headwear accessories with retro hats. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything that specific, so I just went for a good old beret, which to be fair, she's still seen wearing. The cape in itself is a statement silhouette, but I also like what we have going on underneath with the clashing patterns, but also the textures of the tweed against this more mock organza sort of fabric. The last category I want to take on for the three girls is more of a nighttime evening party look. Obviously, they are renowned for their insane gowns. Sorry to disappoint, but I don't actually just have some designer ball gowns tucked away in my wardrobe, so we are going to be raising the hemlines. Think more along the lines of like Chuck is throwing a party. For Serena, I wanted to go for something quite flashy and metallic. The other option, of course, would have been going for something very bodycon, but personally, I don't have anything like that in my wardrobe, so I opted for this beaded mini dress, and I'm actually wearing it back to front. It's supposed to be kind of a low cowl back, but flipped around, I feel like it creates a really nice drapery to flatter the chest, which is definitely something Serena would be all in on. Of course, as she was arriving and leaving, she would want a coat. This silver metallic complements the dress beautifully, naturally and really makes it feel cohesive. I love that it has this flouncy ruffle detailing along the lapel. It really helps elevate the look, and again, you know, you just want the extra details to help make this look more expensive when in reality the whole thing is actually thrifted. Please, I beg of you, do not look at my feet. I did warn you I had no heels. Like, imagine a diamante silver really high heel with this. That would look stunning instead of my low little sandal. Like, what the hell is this? I'm so sorry. Blair's party look is actually all thrifted as well, down to each and every accessory. I know brown might not be a color you instantly associate with Blair, but I was actually taking inspo from a particular photo, and while it's nowhere near being exact, I think you can see the connection there. I love this more A-line, almost baby doll silhouette. This is actually a midi skirt, and I just hiked it up to be a strapless dress instead. And the little shrug slash bolero is definitely very forgiving of that, and again is adding that expensive taste we love to see. I don't know, I just felt so pretty and dainty in this one. I really like it. Of course, for our goth rocker queen, we are going for an all black fit. I believe Jenny's wardrobe was actually quite heavily inspired by Taylor Momsen, the actor who played her, and I know she definitely loved to rock a slip dress, very kind of Courtney Love inspired. I've got the faux fur jacket, some lace, some leather. It all comes together beautifully in the end. This is such a cool party look, and I'm sure the sort of thing that still to this day hundreds of thousands of people are wearing every weekend. But yes, that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know which looks were your favorite, and also I just love to know who was your style icon. Jenny, Blair, or Serena? Who's number one? But thank you so much for watching, and remember, if you're ever missing me here on YouTube, you can check me out over on TikTok as well. It's just the same at Steal the Spotlight. Hopefully I'll be seeing you around. Bye.